Hello, hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. I hope everyone is doing well, and I'm just going to jump right into it. When you're able to not be emotionally manipulated, but understand that there is a duality to manipulation, that is another part of it that is creation. So think about clay. This is the easiest analogy that we've all been given. You manipulate clay to become a plate, a vase, whatever you want to sculpt it to be. There's a level of physical manipulation just as well as emotional manipulation that has to happen for something to be able to transcend to its next level of understanding or to its next level of ascending or whatever that might look like. We come into this world given a certain type of energy, believing that we are in control of it. We are never in control of anything. We are only in charge of disciplines, duties, titles, responsibilities, whatever you want to call it. It's being in charge of to make sure that there is order to, okay? Remember, there is always a bigger source. There's always a bigger source than all of us. There's something that makes us feel that we understand what's going on and we feel that it feels real to us because we're experiencing it. But just like anything else that experiences damage, it's going to feel the residual effect. May it be physical or emotional, we have to start paying attention to how we know that we're going to repair ourselves without trying to be in control of the whole freaking process. I made a quote earlier where I said, do not plant your seed in infertile soil. This has multiple meanings. The main meaning was, don't keep putting energy into something functionally that makes no sense to you. If you're working a job or doing an exercise or eating a diet or whatever it might be that makes no sense to your sense of well-being, why are you still functionally doing it? Because at that point, if you are able to continue the discipline without any training around you to tell you what to do, like a child, when you're a child, you have no choice. You're told, do this or do that. And then you have to learn your masculine energy and your feminine energy. Well, remember, the feminine energy is that nutrient-rich soil. That is the thing that takes in everything without being asked to be penetrated. You have to understand these analogies go across the board because we are all a part of nature. Everything has a reciprocal thing and everything has something that is penetrating or putting inside of. Because this is the whole point of us understanding that we're a container and that there's things that we contain that we still have yet to recognize or even utilize. And so this is where, for me, myself, I wrote something down where I noticed that's what it was. It was TLC. They say yes to the dress. Say yes to the dress. But then I was thinking, they're not being creative. What about say yes to the tux? I don't just mean some random black and white tux. I mean like men who love to show off their colors, masculine energies who love to show off their colors, women who live in their masculine energies and love to show off colors but still keep that, what we call the phallic, the thing that holds strong to make the roots go into the ground, to make the trunk stand strong, to let the branches and everything free flow and be what they are in creation. That is the feminine energy. There's a point in life where we have not learned how to understand that in order to see that we have some sense of understanding in this world of any control that we think we have, it's knowing that we get to control our mindset towards things. We're always in charge, but we can control them. There's a lot of people who have old thoughts and old ways because they're controlling what needs to come out. And just like anything that needs to come out, it's going to get backed up and it has nowhere to go. So there's a moment of remembering our masculine energies, they're suffering from a deficiency of being able to express themselves. There's very often myself growing up as a man, doesn't matter about black or gay, just growing up as a man, knowing that I have a biological body as a man, and so I have to deal with this body and decide, is this the body I love? Is this the body I desire? Is this the body that I want to be with? Because again, it's a spaceship. And so I decide, okay, I'm okay with the body, then I'm going to now take on the energy, these roles that are handed to us. But then we forget that we don't allow the young energy of the masculine to be loving and nurturing. You know, the full part of the farmer taking care of the field and taking care of everything else is that they're there to watch this delicate plant grow into something that's going to be, you know, fruitful for the farmer and anyone else that's attached to it. This is the point of understanding that as we go through this life feeling that we're able to be manipulated by this or that, or someone says if you feel this way then you're gay, or if you feel this way then you're a bigot, or all these names to try to describe emotions that have been unresolved since the beginning of time. But what we need to be focusing on is, again, setting forth this energy that I'm seeing that is so beautiful. I'm loving these Gen Z babies because they're doing it right. They're learning how to express their feminine energy without it being about demeaning their masculine energy. Do you understand that for so long, in order for a feminine to be strong, we have to demean the masculine energy to feel like nothing just to hold this on a pedestal? This is why it's always felt imbalanced. I don't want a delicate plant on a pedestal. I want a strong branch and a strong partner that's going to hold me down and hold us together while I keep us rooted and stable in place. Still being able to move back and forth and being with the ebb and flow of what we have to go through energetically, but understanding that there is now a role that has just been agreed upon. We all walk into this world with masculine and feminine energies, okay? We all get the choice to decide what bodies we want to decide to reside in. This is all part of our understanding of free will. Nothing has to do with the actual shell. We just allow it to be that because it's the closest thing to tribe, our families, which we understand. But we understand how to, again, tell women what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to look and how they grow up and what's this and what's that and what's independent woman. We've done all that for women, and I'm not saying that women have not suffered enough that they need to have a voice, but it's also the time where the feminine has to step into their full masculine as well and take action towards their own dreams, which means now the masculine, who's been around with the distorted masculine, I'm the man, I'm in charge, I'm the alpha. Okay, well, there's still a part of you that's feminine that needs to be loved. And if you're not nurturing that part of you, then you're going back to what I call your seed phase. This is anybody. You see, I haven't made any thing about genders or anything like that because that's assignment by humans that we need to understand. This part goes into this part. Remember the receiver and the penetrator. This is in every scientific book where you look down to the cells and how everything just clock, clock, click, clock, you know, you can look it up. The point of what I'm trying to say is that we are getting to a point now that the imbalance is going to balance out if we allow it to. Don't force on more egotistical ways of thinking about your spirit and thinking that you have some duty to be this type of person or some duty to act a certain way. No. Exemplify the best example of what you know you need to do to help something grow. This is how you start to merge your two worlds. This is how we, again, allow little boys to love themselves out loud. We give all this praise. It's so backwards. Again, this is why it's backwards. And we all see we all say this is this doesn't make sense when it's like, I can't think of the word. It's hypocritical, basically. When you can say, oh, a woman can do this, a woman can do that, but she can't do this. And this makes her this and all this. But a man can do all this. And then out in the outside world, it looks like, oh, he gets to do everything. But really, he's getting shut down emotionally. He doesn't have anyone to go to because once you go to the masculine world, everyone is told that we don't talk. We don't do that. We go back to our seed phase. Go back to being a seed. Go back to being a seed. Because remember, the masculine energy is the seed. It is the thing that holds the source of life that then goes into the thing that can grow the source of life, right? This is why sperm, eggs in the ovary, all that, bam, 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 you got a baby, okay? This is not something that is like just happening out of nowhere. The universe knew exactly what it was doing, but it also had to say to the energies that made him, hey, you have to keep balancing the balance of you too. So the rest of the balance keeps going, because once you're in balance, think about something like a sediment when it's sitting in a bottle or something. And like, out of nowhere, once it settles on the side, everything just sits on that one side. That's the same thing with each part of your energies. If you just allow your energies to just settle onto one side and never get used on the other side, then you're going to have an imbalance of something that's always being used and something that's always not in use. And then the body's going to feel it and it's going to shift to that. And then emotionally, you're going to start feeling like crap and thinking like crap and feeling like you have to do this thing that you never asked to be, which is an overprotector. But if you're overly protecting your outside environment, how often are you protecting your inside environment? This is why restoring the masculine is so important. Keep the feminine. Keep embracing the feminine. Keep pushing the feminine where it needs to be. Beyonce doing that for everybody. Come on now. But now when you see the divine working so hard to get back where she belongs, where the divine energy belongs, that's where the masculine has to do the same thing, which is step back into your power and your glory without it being distorted, without trying to control someone. Try to be in charge of your energy so that it exemplifies how they can be in charge of theirs. This is actually how, this is where I was talking about the manipulation. It seems like that would be manipulative, but children learn by example, right? Adults never, look, we're just grown kids. It doesn't go away just because I'm bigger and my voice is deeper and I can make sense of things in a way that maybe we say a child can't, but I feel children comprehend a lot quicker emotionally because they don't have all these tangible rules to this contextual information that we create. This is why linguistics is beautiful, but at the same time, it's a trap because you got to learn all these meanings that are actually emotional meanings to getting back to a sense of self. So this is what I was saying. It's get back to that balance of listening to, I know that I need to do this for this to continue to grow and to flourish. And if the masculine energy is able to see that, okay, I am not the creator of life, but I am the carrier of life. Do you understand? This is literally what sperm is. We are the carriers of life. And then the physical, biological female are the creators of life because they're the fertile soil. They're the fertile soil that everything happens in. And if you keep putting your energy into a distorted energy of feminine or a distorted energy of masculine, where you're only basing it on looks and penis sizes and all this and money and la 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 la, yes, it's great. But if it's your only understanding of connection to yourself or anyone else, you're going to get lost in what we call the 3D translation. If you want to step into another energetic road and find your soulmate, then that's when you have to step inside of yourself and see the third eye, which is telling you, I am two halves that make a whole. One half is for this, the other half is for this. Emotional and logical. We already know this is how the halves of the brain work. So then when I can come together, which we call our third eye, now I'm in my fourth mind because I see my third eye working together with these two energies that make me dualistic, okay? This is important because if we're, again, I grew up as a gay man believing myself that I was supposed to only be feminine. It sounds silly to someone, but in my mind, my role models were all feminine men, and I loved them. That's why I love feminine men. But I had no role models of a masculine man, straight or gay, because in my opinion, most men were in the distorted masculine, which is homophobic, and they don't know themselves. And it's like, bro, I'm not attracted to you. I don't really care that you have the same thing as me. That's not how this works. So now I'm at the point where we have to raise up our masculine energies as well. And like men like, Will Smith and other people, we put them on the pedestals, but we have to really see why they're on these pedestals. They're building legacy. They're building children who understand that they're going to be functional adults in this world and they have to give back. And they're giving back in a way that's understanding that this is for survival of mankind, not just my own little tribe. This is the weight of the world of the real divine masculine. The divine masculine understands that at any point I have to protect all of this and create it without it constantly conflicting and destroying itself. This is why the balance of life is so important. It's good to know how to be, go get it, do it. But it's also good to be like, okay, let me step back. And just like you can be, okay, let me step back too much, it's good to go back out there and get it. It's all about finding balance, my loves. Okay? So sometimes, you got to remember the whole point what I was starting out with is the word manipulation. Sometimes you have to manipulate your energy to become who you're meant to be. If you allow yourself to stay in a manipulated type of energy, which is somebody else's creation, then you're always going to be lost. So if you're able to manipulate your own energy and you can see that manipulation is only there for creation, then you'll start creating the life that you know you deserved. Then the masculine can step into the energy that they need to. The divine feminine can keep creating. And as we co-create, we make love great. I love you guys. As always, check me out on all my social media platforms, epicentity.org. Love you, besos.